Right now at 6, the Oklahoma Municipal League throws its support behind the city of Miami in the ongoing battle with the GRDA.
And we have thunderstorms continuing through the next couple of hours. I'm going to have those details coming up.
Plus, the future of agriculture education in Neosho. It takes shape as a new 30,000 square foot center officially opens.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it's Friday, May 2nd. And it's been, I can't stress this enough, it's just been crazy with the severe weather that we've been having. Yeah. I'm really excited for the weekend that it's going to be clearing up, but we've still got some more rain.
We do have a little bit more rain leading into this morning. And it's a cooler weekend, which, I wish maybe in the 70s and sunny. Right. That's kind of my sweet spot. I love that. But, upper 60s, can't complain, especially as long as we're not seeing any rainfall. I know we've had a ton of flooding, so let's go ahead and take a look outside and see what more we can expect through this morning. We've got nice looking weekend. Now you can see temperatures are going to be a bit cooler, like I just said, but rainfall through the next couple of hours. So it's unfortunate we're starting off our Friday morning again a little rainy, a little gross outside, but luckily severe threat is south of us. They've got a severe thunderstorm warning, a lot of lightning, severe thunderstorm watches, but our area looking clear. Now we've got a little bit of lightning out there, Joplin up to Carthage. We saw that on the camera earlier, but mostly just rainfall. A couple of clusters kind of pushing in just east of Pittsburgh. That's going to be Carl Junction area. So here we're taking a look outside, 32nd and range line out in Joplin. Looks like a bit of a lull, might get still some sprinkles out there, but lightning has passed and temperatures are starting to warm up. We're another degree warmer. Now let's look at our surrounding cameras. Downtown Joplin, not too bad again out there. 32nd and range line, a little bit rainier, same in 20th and range line, so definitely on a range line if you're heading down there in the next 30 minutes to an hour. It's going to be rainy, it's going to be wet. Pittsburgh staying dry right now, but we have the potential to still see some rain showers pushing in. There you can go 7 a.m., a little bit of some rain pushing at least just south of Pittsburgh, but they might get some sprinkles. All that starts to clear out by mid-morning, about 9 a.m., and then we're looking ahead to seeing a couple of these isolated pop-up storms. Non-severe because they're elevated storms, but they are going to be popping up through the afternoon and early evening hours before we finally start to clear out for the evening and for the weekend. But I'm going to have a look at your forecast coming up.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. Well, the ribbon is cut on the newest facility for the Neosho School District. KOAM's Anthony Saviello tells us more on how teachers and students are feeling to finally reach this moment.
30,000. That's the number of square feet within this new facility.
Just to have the space and the tools to do that, I have a bigger greenhouse now, and so just the space for more kids to be involved and be a part of it.
400. That's the number of students that will walk through its doors each day.
Ag Education FFA is I feel like a perfect combination of things. The classroom learning, the leadership development, and then the community service that we do as kids latch on to that.
1. The number of seniors who serve as the FFA president who get to see a dream become reality.
When going to the fairs and everything, I was just that little girl because I was against so many people that have done it forever because they grew up in that background. And so I would tell myself to keep going because failure is okay, because here I am today speaking in front of everyone. I've had so many experiences and journeys and opportunities, and I'm super thankful, and I would tell you to take that chance because as I reflect now, the time in the Blue Jacket is very short. It may seem like 4 years a long time. It is not.
The work of Emma Butler and her fellow students didn't go unnoticed by their teachers.
The students at Neosho are just great students that are willing to learn and jump in and do the right thing. And so with them and then a great team of teachers and supportive administration and school board, it's just a perfect combination of things to get where we're at today.
No horsing around. It took work.
I attended schools, held posters up on the voting day to vote yes. I went and talked at public events, try to inspire the people to see how important it is to be able to have this and do this. And so I just kind of look back and I'm super thankful for that opportunity. It's not only helped me grow as a person, but to see how much it takes to get the community involved and see what it's like. And so that's really important to me, something I'll use for the rest of my life, all that skill.
Work that's led to a special moment. In Neosho, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
Well, Neosho students will begin using the facility in the fall. And the city of Miami gets a major backing in its ongoing battle with the Grand River Dam Authority. Continuous flooding in Miami has become the norm, an issue the city blames on the GRDA. City leaders claim the GRDA prioritizes profit over safety by maintaining elevated lake levels. Now, they say those levels have led to repeating floods, destroying homes and businesses, stunting economic growth and endangering lives. Now, the GRDA manages Grand Lake and the Pensacola Dam. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission recently ruled the GRDA was in violation of its operational license, a license it's been running on since 1992, and it's due for renewal at the end of this month. Now, the Oklahoma Municipal League is now backing the city of Miami and wants to hold the GRDA accountable. In a letter to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, the league urges the FERC to impose limitations and requirements regarding the relicensure and operations of the Pensacola Dam. Miami Mayor Bless Parker shared a copy of the letter on Facebook, thanking the league for its support of Miami and its citizens. And Miami residents gathered for a joint special meeting to discuss electric utility rates and community fiber upgrades. The presentation broke down how rate changes could impact household bills now and in the future.
Utility costs are going up all over the country. That's an unfortunate but inevitable fact of life. And so the well-managed utility has to balance its needs to get additional revenue with the strain it puts on its customers. So all it's asking its ratepayers to do is pay the city what it is costing the city to provide that service to them.
Well, city officials also outlined current internet services and potential expansions through the community fiber project. And the national deadline to get your real ID is coming soon. Starting May 7th, if you don't have a real ID, you may not be able to access certain government buildings or get on some flights. As KOAM's Lonnie Walton reports, depending on how you plan to travel, you might want to get yours.
I spoke to locals in Missouri who says they have things to do and places to go. That's why they got their real IDs.
Veteran, 20 years in the Navy.
Bill Stansbury is a Call Junction resident. He says his history in the Navy is why having a real ID is important to him.
If I want to go somewhere and I need a military to get in, that's proof.
He's right about that, according to Tris Vincent from the Missouri Department of Revenue.
And the reason that you do need a real ID is if you're going to be flying on a commercial flight, or if you're going to go into a federal courthouse or visit a military base or nuclear power plant, then you're going to need that real ID to gain access.
Joplin resident Michelle Gray is a flight attendant. She says the process of getting an ID is fairly simple, and if you want to fly, you need it.
We have what's called KCM, where you go through TSA, and that is all getting ready to change, and most people that are going through TSA now have to have a real ID.
Vincent says you should start this process right away if you have summer plans, because if you don't have your ID, you may not be going anywhere.
I don't know what those answers are, and I don't know if there are answers, but I certainly, if you spent money on a trip, you certainly don't want to not get on the airplane.
I told Stansbury most people in Missouri currently don't have their real IDs. He says,
I could care less.
And if you don't plan on driving domestically or getting inside government buildings, our expert says you may not even need it. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Although fewer than half of folks in Missouri, Kansas, and Arkansas have their real IDs, in some states it's at or near 100%. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Prices from Chinese goods look to be going up as President Trump's tariffs loophole comes to an end. We'll have the latest. Plus, Around 1 million one-time use printer cartridges fill our landfills a day. We'll examine why one California town is trying to ban them. And Lindsay will have a look at your weekend forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. The Trump administration is ending federal funding for school mental health. The Department of Education is notifying impacted districts that $1 billion in grants coming from the 2022 Bipartisan Safer Communities Act will be canceled for hiring more school mental health counselors. The administration says grants have been used for race-focused or diversity, equity, and inclusion hiring and quotas, and not for merit hiring and evidence-based mental health need. Well, 7 active duty transgender service members are asking the Supreme Court not to enforce a ban on transgender people in the military. Last week, the Trump administration filed an emergency appeal to the Supreme Court asking to enforce it while the legal challenges unfold. The service members are arguing that the ban is different because it impacts service members who transitioned prior to the ban. The plaintiffs say discharging all trans service members would create thousands of vacancies in the military. President Trump naming Mike Waltz his pick for the new U.S. ambassador to the UN hours after he fired him from his post as national security advisor. Waltz now also getting the job following the departure of previous Deputy National Security Advisor Alex Wong. President Trump says Secretary of State Marco Rubio will now serve as National Security Advisor while still taking on his position leading the State Department. Well, if you shop online at Amazon, Haul, Temu, or Shein, you might notice higher prices. Now, that's because the denims tariff exemption for Chinese imports ended this morning. Amy Kiley reports on the change.
Even very, very cheap items are now being tariffed.
The era of Americans buying ultra-cheap products from China might be waning. As of this morning, a tariff loophole is closed for Chinese imports worth $800 or less. That's due to executive action from President Donald Trump last month.
It's a big scam going on against our country.
Here are the new tariffs for Chinese imports in the affected price range. An item sent via the postal system carries a 120% duty or a $100 fee. On June 1st, the flat cost option rises to $200. An item shipped another way likely faces Trump's 145% tariff hike.
Maybe the children will have $2 instead of $30, you know? And maybe the $2 will cost a couple of bucks more than they would normally.
Chinese e-commerce giants Shein and Temu say they raised prices a week ago to prepare for the loophole's end. Temu's website uses the label local warehouse for items it says aren't subject to duties. Amazon says it considered showing how tariffs affect prices on its low-cost Amazon Haul site. After a clash with the White House, it's backing off that idea, but not backing off potential price hikes.
When you have a low margin business, you don't have as much wiggle room to deal with tariffs, and you have to pass that on to consumers more.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Lindsay with a look at your forecast.
Well, we still have a few of these showers and thunderstorms pushing in. You can see again, looks like a little bit lighter now out in Bentonville. A little lightning out there, so some of these embedded thunderstorms could be a bit stronger. Joplin area seeing still some lighter showers. Same in Carthage, a little heavier, a little cluster of thunderstorms out near the Carl Junction area, just east of Pittsburgh. Now all of this is going to continue to push in over the next 30 minutes to an hour, clearing out by mid-morning. And then we've got a nice looking evening ahead, but I'm going to have those details coming up.
Business, schools, government agencies, even many of us at home love to print from our computers. So much so that more than 1 million single-use printer cartridges get dumped into U.S. landfills each day. Danya Bacchus looks at why Los Angeles is considering banning their sale.
This is just kind of a small example of what we have.
Thousands of spent printer cartridges find their way here to Planet Green Recycle outside LA.
We have a warehouse full of these cartridges.
Planet Green is one of only a handful of companies that accept used cartridges and get them printing again. Sean Levy is the founder and CEO.
We remanufacture everything in-house. We do not outsource a single cartridge.
Here, cartridges that can be recycled are inspected, cleaned, repaired, and loaded with new ink. Once they're tested, they head back out for consumers, businesses, and corporations to use.
About 3,000 to 4,000 cartridges every single day is what we produce.
But that's only about half of what comes in. Company executives say the other half are single-use cartridges not made to be recycled.
It's plastic waste, and most people understand floating plastic in the ocean, fish, turtles, and all that. You don't see these cartridges, but they are going into landfills.
Eric Sherman, the company's director of recycling, says about 375 million cartridges end up in U.S. landfills each year.
Many of these cartridges are falsely labeled. They'll have recycling logos on it. They'll say they're remanufactured, and they're not. You can't do anything with them.
Sherman says these generic cartridges are usually sold by e-commerce retailers and made overseas. He says consumers can make a more environmentally conscious choice by buying directly from the original manufacturer or a remanufacture company based in the United States.
Well, the city of Los Angeles could be the first in the country to ban the sale of single-use printer cartridges. Now, it's considering an ordinance that would prohibit their distribution on sale within city limits. Now, here's Lindsay with a look at your forecast.
Well, we've got showers and thunderstorms still pushing in. You can see more of a severe threat south of us. They got severe thunderstorm watch and warnings, but we are just getting some of those northern rain showers. A little bit of lightning out in Bentonville, but mostly you can see Joplin area kind of seeing some of those rain showers popping up out to Carthage, but not too heavy of rain. Now, all that's going to continue to push through, but clearing out by mid-morning. Well, we do have some thunderstorms out there in the 4 states. Now, mostly a severe threat south of us, but our area still seeing some of those rain showers. Definitely out in Miami, Grove, Veneta, and Oklahoma, and then out in Bentonville, even getting a lot of lightning in Bentonville, pushing up to Pineville and Cassville, and then out in Joplin area, getting a few of those showers as well, all the way out to Carthage, Webb City. Now, just shy of Columbus, Oswego, may get a few rain showers over the next 30 minutes to an hour, but you can see, taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, a nice little sunrise. You can see it out there. Partly cloudy skies. Haven't seen any just hint of rain out in the Pittsburgh area, so looking pretty good. However, Joplin has seen a bit of rainfall already. They had some thunderstorms, a little bit of lightning just about 30 to 45 minutes ago. Still getting light showers, maybe even just some sprinkles out there. And then temperatures are slowly warming up, 57 degrees out there. That's going to continue, especially because we're having these morning rain showers. It's going to keep us a little bit cooler. So not too bad. A little bit of rain in the morning. Cooler temperatures. By this evening, we've got a cold front coming through. It's going to keep us chilly in the upper 60s. That's about 5 to 10 degrees cooler than where we should be this time of year. We're normally sitting in the mid 70s. And then we also have these isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms later on this afternoon after that cold front passes. Now, not expecting a lot more rainfall, another 1/10 of an inch out in the Joplin area. A little less in Columbus. So Pittsburgh may not see any bit of rainfall at all this morning, looking good, just shy of where we cut off the rain chances. And then south of I-44, another 1/4 of an inch to nearly 1/2 an inch in some isolated areas. But by this evening, we're finally clearing out. This is our start to a dry weekend, even a dry beginning of next week. You can see clouds starting to clear out. Partly cloudy skies, mostly cloudy skies, and then cooler temperatures. We're already dropping down into the low 50s to start off our Saturday morning. And again, we're staying below average for temperatures, mid to upper 60s on Saturday, 66, 67 degrees. Sunday, 69 to 70 degrees. So it's a bit tad bit warmer on Sunday, just a smidge. And then we have this ridge that's going to warm us up even more on Monday into the low to mid 70s. So that's right about average. Now, our low pushes in. We have another low pressure system off to the east. We're pinched in between that for the weekend, which is why we have those nicer weather. But then our low starts to push in by Tuesday. You can see how thunderstorms and showers start to push in by Tuesday evening. Then we're seeing just consistent rain chances Tuesday into Wednesday. This is now 7 a.m. Still seeing some of those showers pushing in on Wednesday. That continues into Thursday as that low continues to push off to the east. So we're having these consistent and persistent rain chances. That's going to just continue through next week and into the weekend. So we've got another nice long stretch Tuesday through Saturday of rain chances. Likely going to see another round of potential flooding as well, because that's what we've been seeing over the last several chances of rain that we've had. But at least we have a nice long weekend of dry weather, and average temperatures before we start to see more rain chances next week. That's Look at Your Forecast. Let's go over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, Lindsay, thanks. While men are more likely to get sick and die from common illnesses, they're also less likely to get medical care. A study in Denmark looked at how men and women respond to diseases like hypertension, diabetes, and HIV and AIDS. Now, they found despite men having a higher risk and higher rates of death, they sought out health care less often than women and were also less likely to stick to their treatment. Well, hearing loss affects some communities more than others. Research published in JAMA showed that rates of hearing loss are highest among white men and lowest among black women. Doctors say they're not sure why there's a disparity, but they hypothesize it may be genetic. And do you believe in karma? Well, a study found many people's views on karma are flexible. For example, many of those who surveyed said when good things happened to them, it was because they'd earned it through good karma. But if bad things happened to them, they didn't blame karma. Researchers call it self-positivity bias, the desire to see ourselves as good people. That's a look at Health Watch. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, it's a match made in med school as two Joplin students look to stitch together a perfect happy ending.
And we do have more rain continuing through this morning, but finally clearing out for the weekend. I'll have those details coming up.
Plus, the city of Joplin recognizes historic preservation during an awards ceremony.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Lindsay Gaffney.
And it's finally Friday, and it's been the talk of the town for the past month, it feels like. Weather, rain.
We were just talking about kind of the differences this season and last season. What I've noticed is we have had a lot more heavy rainfall this season.
Lots of flooding.
Yes. Which I don't know if we had last year, but it's been a ton of flooding. And so every chance to dry out has been super important, which we finally have the chance tonight and through the weekend. But unfortunately, we still have a bit of a rainy start. So let's take a look at our radar. You can see rain pushing into the Joplin area. Now, some parts of this may see a little bit of lightning. Mostly it's just widespread rain. The severe threat staying south of us. You can see how much lightning there is out near Fort Smith, but they're still under a severe thunderstorm watch, and I've also seen a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, but our area is staying clear. So you can see rain and a little bit heavier just south of Joplin into Carthage as well. Grove, Jay, Pineville getting some sprinkles out there, and just north of Bentonville into Cassville. Lightning, heavy rainfall. Those are brief thunderstorms. You can see how it's kind of still pushing out towards just south of Monette. Those are brief thunderstorms that are going to be continuing over the next 30 minutes to an hour. But by the next 30 minutes, we're mostly just dealing with widespread lighter rain. And that's going to stay just south of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's about our cutoff. And then maybe getting into, like we just saw how the rain kind of goes up to Joplin and Carthage. It's going to continue to push up, maybe hitting Lamar, Liberal area, and then clearing out. Then later on this afternoon, we're dealing with some pop-up thunderstorms. Now, these are isolated, not widespread. Those are going to continue to pass by through mid-afternoon. Then still a couple of more isolated showers popping up towards the early evening, but then finally clearing out. Sunny skies or clear skies through this evening, and then a clear weekend. But I'm going to have a look at your weekend forecast coming up.
All right, we'll see you soon, Lindsay. Thanks. Well, a two-vehicle crash at highway speeds in Jasper County sends 3 to the hospital. It happened around 4:30 yesterday at Central City Road and West 7th Street. A red pickup truck traveling west on West 7th Street T-boned a northbound minivan taking Central City Road. Missouri State Highway Patrol say the crash occurred as the minivan pulled into the path of the pickup. The driver of the minivan, a 35-year-old woman from Webb City, was rushed Priority 1 to a Joplin hospital with serious injuries. 2 individuals were in the pickup. Both the driver and passenger were also taken to a Joplin hospital with reported moderate injuries. And students at Northeast Tech's Afton campus got a powerful lesson on the dangers of distracted and impaired driving. 2 mock crash drills played out like a real emergency, complete with first responders, air evac, and Oklahoma Highway Patrol on scene. The simulation gave students a first-hand look at just how quickly a bad decision can turn tragic. After the crash, students visited safety booths and heard from officers and emergency workers about the reality they see every day.
I hope they take away that it's not just possibly the actions of themselves, but, you know, as a driver, as a new driver especially, you have to look out, you know, for all the other cars on the road as well.
The event was meant to drive home a simple message: stay alert, stay sober, and stay alive behind the wheel. Well, a local effort to recognize Joplin's rich history takes center stage during the 2025 Historic Preservation Awards. The Frisco Station Lofts hosted yesterday's ceremony, where community members gathered to celebrate people working to preserve the city's past. The city's Historic Preservation Commission honored individuals and groups who made a lasting impact through restoration, community outreach, and historic revitalization.
That's where you get to see a building being preserved that has maybe been a little run down. That's the building or the house that you maybe walked by when you were a kid and that you have memories of with your family. So that's really the history that's most personal to us in our everyday lives, and that's why we like to celebrate that.
3 different awards were presented, each highlighting a unique area of preservation work. The Leslie Simpson Award, the Jeff and Carolina Neal Award, and the Murfreesburg Award. Well, Match Day is a big day for medical students where they find out where they'll start their residency program. Now, 2 engaged medical students were lucky enough to match into just 50 minutes away from each other. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on the couple's story.
It all started when Michaela Lebo came to KCU Joplin from San Diego to pursue her dream of being a doctor. She ended up finding even more. KCU Joplin is where she found love.
During my first year of medical school and Dominic's second year of medical school, so we were in 2 different classes. We met at a local bar here in Joplin, Missouri, and didn't know each other prior to that night.
That's where their love story begins. And for the coming years, they would spend every step of their medical school journey together, even helping each other with studying.
Our first and second year, we saw a lot of each other on campus, studied together.
Years before Match Day, Dominic took an educational opportunity that would also increase their chances of couples matching in the future.
I took a year off at an anatomy fellowship where I got a chance to lead by example and teach and really develop research based around cadaver. And so I had to take that year not only just to make myself more competitive for orthopedics, but for us to line up better.
All of the couple's hard work and dedication paid off because the 2 of them will begin their residency in July, just about 50 minutes away from each other. She'll be in Detroit, Michigan, and he'll be in Grand Blanc, Michigan.
It's really hard to do, and we just got so lucky. I mean, you know, that there's that old saying of opportunity and hard work is where luck meets.
But before that, their next step is their wedding in just a few days.
Over the moon. You know, it's hard not to be excited for a future in orthopedics and excited for my fiance here, soon to be wife, 16 days away.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Michaela matched into the ear, nose, and throat specialty, and Dominic matched into orthopedic surgery. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. It's Friday, and that means Shannon Becker joins us with his big 3 stories of the week. Plus, Lindsay will have your weekend forecast from the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning. Happy Friday to you.
Oh, thank you very much. And you as well.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the big 3 stories this week, live and local, what's happening where you live. This is a story I just thought was amazing. Bunch of strawberries, let's say, 40,000 pounds of strawberries. This is right on the interstate at the McDonald's that goes over I-44. This driver actually fell asleep and drove through that concrete barrier, which, I mean, I never knew a semi. I've seen semis hit it and move it, but he drove right through it.
Right through it.
Not injured, was standing there as everyone arrived. Obviously, I wonder who inside the restaurant maybe saw it even happen.
Yes.
It disrupted traffic over the weekend, probably about 6 hours, as that was a lengthy cleanup, something that could have been much worse, but thank goodness it wasn't. Our number 2 story. Another amazing story. I got to capture this. A Black Hawk helicopter. I guess this is something that's pretty common in bigger towns. You know, we live in a smaller place here. In Baxter Springs, Rouse Heating and Air needed to get this huge unit on top of a building at the KMT water jet. So they got a Black Hawk helicopter. They flew it in from Tulsa that morning. And they lifted the old one off and they put the new one on. I was so
like luxury treatment.
I'm so excited to see it happen. It was so incredibly cool. This is a vantage point there from one of the workers. You can see the helicopter there. It's a real tight spot.
Yes.
You got electric lines everywhere, and they're kind of going into this little area on the top of the building. It took just a couple of hours, so not sure what that invoice was, but they said it was easier than using a crane in that tight spot. Our number 1 story, we've all been talking about it all week. It was amazing to see the weather, how it affected the area of the Neosho Airport. And they're in southern Newton County. We were there live just after that storm had passed and went on to Springfield. That's the entrance to the Neosho Airport. This is a silo, an area with 3 silos, not used anymore, right along the railroad tracks. The damage there, I was just, no pun intended, I was just blown away. It was so bizarre to see how those things collapsed. Nobody was injured. They're just calling it high winds.
Right.
These here. Now, they are still making reports for things that are further east, but they said they don't plan on changing their ideas of what really occurred here in that southern Newton County area. Our bonus story, teens and tween girls are excited. Five Below officially opens in Joplin this morning at 10 o'clock. Now, they have been actually open the past 2 days.
Oh, how
you got to work out the kinks, before all the kids get there. So I've
actually
get their candy.
I
know they do. Their grand opening is actually this weekend. They'll have hot dogs and stuff tomorrow between 11 and 2. And they'll also be giving away some bags, little swag bag sort of thing if you want to get there at 10 o'clock. So they're the former Party City location. It's next to the Dollar Tree. So I don't know if there's going to be like, you remember in Anchorman, when they were all up there fighting. I don't know if the Dollar Tree people and all they're going to get out there and start. I don't know.
Well,
I'm sure they won't. I'm sure they won't. But I know a lot of people are looking forward to it.
Exciting.
Yeah, there you go. That's your big 3 in the bonus.
Well, Shannon, as always, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Happy to have you. Stick around. We'll be right back. Well, it's time to celebrate some Friday birthdays and anniversaries, starting in Pittsburgh with a happy 6th birthday to Ari Jackson.
And it looks like we've got twins turning 7, Carter and Parker Mitchell. A happy birthday out in Iola, Kansas.
And happy 14th birthday to Chloe Sarsick in Arma.
And turning another 14th birthday in Arma, Mariah Mason. Happy birthday, princess, from Daddy, Mama, Gina, Tanner, and Mama. We love you.
And happy 15th birthday in Frontenac to Lakin Sullivan.
Now, Christina Beard turning 33 out in Erie, Kansas. Happy birthday, Christina. Now you're on the left in the picture there.
And also celebrating their 33rd birthday today in Coral Junction. Happy birthday to Michael Bullard. It says happy birthday from Chanel and Dad.
Now moving over to Pittsburgh, Kansas, turning 49, Jan Cooper. Happy birthday out there in Pittsburgh.
And an anniversary in Columbus. Happy 6th anniversary to Andy and Heather Peterman.
And another birthday, Brooke born. Happy birthday, Brooke.
And in Pittsburgh, happy birthday to Mike Tropp.
A few birthdays. We've got Linda Town turning 64 today out in Iola, Kansas. Your family loves you and is wishing you an awesome day. Happy birthday, Linda.
And a happy birthday to Steve Jacquino in St. Paul, celebrating birthday number 70.
And we've got another anniversary to Jason and Melissa Earl. 23rd anniversary. Congratulations, you guys.
And a happy birthday to Jassiana Heflin. That was a wonderful birthday list and anniversaries list. If you would like to celebrate either celebration with us, you can do so by submitting them to birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. Be sure to include wonderful photos and messages to, of course, meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen. And to also please include the date of your celebration when submitting as well.
Well, we've had some rain showers already through the morning hours. You can see the little orange outline all the way to Fort Smith. That's a severe thunderstorm watch. So that's going to be for the south of us. We're not in a watch. We haven't seen any warnings. We're likely not going to see any type of severe thunderstorm warnings. This is just going to be rainfall through the morning hours, though some of these storms could be a little bit louder. So taking a look out there near Cassville, Pineville, some thunderstorms starting to push in from Oklahoma, from Arkansas, just south of Monette. And maybe a little lightning, a little thunderstorm with that. Now, Joplin had some thunderstorms earlier this morning and a little bit of heavy rain. You can see where it's a slightly more orange just south of Carthage. That's going to be just heavier rainfall, and then the yellow and darker green, lighter rain, some sprinkles. So that's all passing by the Joplin area, saying just south of Joplin. Moving out to Carthage. Now a little bit of more rain moving into the Columbus area, but all of this is going to stay south of Pittsburgh. So we are still getting some rainfall, but mostly in our central and southern counties. So taking a look outside downtown Pittsburgh, pretty cloudy out there, but no rain. But then switching over to the Joplin area, you can see it's been pretty wet. No rain right now, maybe some sprinkles, but not a severe threat, no severe thunderstorms, no lightning, no strong thunderstorms out there anymore. So it's just going to be inconvenient to start our morning off. Now taking a look at our bus stop forecast. So we've got temperatures starting off in the upper 50s. Still pretty rainy, especially if you're heading into the Joplin area and in the southern counties, even the southern states, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. So that's where we're seeing most of our rainfall through the mid-morning hours. By this evening, we're not going to see the widespread rain, but we are seeing isolated thunderstorms popping up. That's going to be early afternoon into early evening. These just isolated pop-up thunderstorms. Again, not severe. And then temperatures warming up into the upper 60s. So we're still a little bit below average temperatures today, but this rain and overcast skies are going to keep us a bit cooler. Now we're only expecting another 1/10 of an inch of rainfall. Like I said, all of the lighter yellow and the green that we saw just earlier on the radar is just going to be these sprinkles and light showers as they're passing through the Missouri side and Arkansas side before clearing out to our east. So this evening, after we see those isolated showers, isolated pop-up thunderstorms, we finally clear out. This is going to be our first chance of consistent dry weather through the weekend starting this evening. Now you can see temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler, low 60s to start out about 8-9 p.m. and then getting down into the 50s with our overnight low dropping down to the lower 50s and even upper 40s. And then we're starting off Saturday a little bit cooler, about 66 to 67 degrees. And then same on Sunday, a tad bit warmer, 69 to 70 degrees. And it is going to be very sunny. So although we're staying slightly below average in temperatures, we finally have a dry weekend and we need it. Now we're pinched in between these two low pressure systems, which give us our ridge, which is our high pressure system, which gives our warmer temperatures to the area. Now we are staying slightly cooler, but by Monday we're back into the 70s, and then by Tuesday is when we finally start to see our next chance of rain. You can see how our low pressure system starts to propagate eastward, and that's giving us some showers, some thunderstorm chances Tuesday afternoon into Wednesday, and those chances just linger, they stick around. So we're going to have these isolated showers, isolated thunderstorms all the way through next Friday and even into potentially even into Saturday as well. So we're going to have another nice long stretch of rainy days, potential flooding there next week as well. But we've got Saturday, Sunday, Monday of drier weather before we finally start to see rain again. Now, coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches on over to Fox 14, high school students take their STEM skills to the racetrack.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The city of Miami gets major backing in its ongoing battle with the Grand River Dam Authority. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission recently ruled the GRDA was in violation of its operational license. The Oklahoma Municipal League is now backing the city of Miami and wants to hold the GRDA accountable. The league urges the FERC to impose limitations and requirements regarding the relicensure and operations of the Pensacola Dam. Well, Neosho School District has a reason to celebrate as the ribbon is cut on their new agricultural center. The 30,000 square foot facility will house 400 students, grades 7th through 12th. Now, officials say the facility provides not only more space for both students and teachers, but also gives students the chance to have a more interactive, hands-on learning experience. And Miami residents gathered for a joint special meeting to discuss electric utility rates and community fiber upgrades. The presentation broke down how rate changes could impact household bills now and in the future. City officials also outlined current internet services and potential expansions through the community fiber project. And that's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Well, we still have some showers through this morning, though non-severe threat. And then after the cold front finally passes, we're going to have these pop-up thunderstorms. Again, not severe, but that continues through the afternoon. Very isolated, not widespread this afternoon. And then we finally get our chance to dry out overnight and through the weekend. You can see temperatures are a bit more mild in the upper 60s, but 3 straight days of no rainfall. And then we start to see our rain chances kicking back up there next week, Tuesday through next weekend.
Take slightly cooler temperatures for clear skies.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I definitely would. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making hot brownie bites in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Actor Connie Britton talks about her new show, The Motherhood, and how it supports single moms.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, a new agriculture center in Neosho has both students and teachers excited.
Plus, Shannon Becker will be back in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. But that'll wrap it up for now. We'll see you back here Monday morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.